Alright, I started.
This one?
Alright, what episode is this?
103.
Go for it, Roman.
103. 103.
What's up, y'all? It's the Odd Squad, Odd Pod,
Coming at you live in 2022.
from the Odd Pod HQ.
Still alive, feeling fine.
Alright.
Alright.
We're feeling ourselves enough.
I thought a quick shout out to the subscriber. What is it? Eric the Great? That's what his YouTube name is,
Our
Mr. Eric the Great.
newest subscriber.
Yeah.
Shout
Met him
out.
at the gym or whatever.
What's up, bro? Eric the
Appreciate
Great.
you. Appreciate you. Yeah, every subscriber is very important.
Yeah.
Alright, this episode we're gonna be doing about
The consciousness traps.
consciousness traps.
So what does that mean?
Alright, consciousness trap could be something, a belief that is implanted in you, almost implanted. You could say, it's almost to the point where you believe in it will change the way you live your whole life. You know what I'm saying? Religion changes people. You know what I mean? The school system, what we're taught in school, the behavior that we're taught is normal. The things we're taught are behaviors and words and all this stuff. We imitate that. You know what I'm saying?
Television.
You know what I'm saying? So for example, I'm gonna start with the first one.
Alright.
The consciousness trap of the fact that people from certain religions pray to Jesus on the cross. Now,
Right.
now I'm gonna tell you what the consciousness trap is there. You're taught to. Well, let me just put it to you like this, bro. If you died in a car wreck, would you necessarily want someone to have a symbol of you like in a car? Like with your head hanging out the windshield and whatnot.
Right.
And like, hey, yeah, pray, remember homeboy, remember homegirl, you know what I'm saying?
Never
Like,
forget how he died.
that is very
Gruesome and
that's sadism.
macabre.
Yeah, macabre. I like that word. That's very macabre, and because we're taught it's normal. We're taught that
Right.
this is
And it's honoring.
but you know what that does? It because you remember, you're always told that Jesus, he was hung up there on that cross because of how he went against the current. And that almost tells you, look, what's gonna happen to you if you go against the current. You know what I'm saying? Is if you want to step up as quote unquote, a son of God, this is gonna happen to you. So it becomes ingrained in you. Don't you ever dare try to step up against the current, because they'll crucify you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He did it for us. So
Yeah.
now we can be subservient and not have to do that.
Exactly. And instead they're using that instead of that act of his being deliberate, whatever. It ends up being another form to enslave us. It's crazy. You know what I'm
What's
saying?
interesting is Tupac had that image of himself on that 7-day theory, the Illuminati, and then he was killed, and so that becomes like a whole nother it makes like rappers afraid of being like too it's like because he's like made himself like a Jesus.
Well, yeah, it's like the JFK thing. It's like if a president wants to step up and he wants to really make a change, well, this is what's gonna happen to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Was that the last assassinated president? JFK?
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, bro. They shot Reagan, but they didn't kill him.
Okay.
If his brother would have made it in the office, they probably would have shot him too.
They shot him anyway.
Well, yeah.
That's why they did it before. We just handled it before.
Yeah.
So the symbol of Jesus on the cross, bro. You're praying to the symbol of this guy who you're supposed to be. Second of all, you're making an idol of the man.
And then they try to ingrain it to you that like sinning is unforgivable in a sense, like how you see hardcore Christians or Catholics or it's hard for you, like you can't sin, and if you do, you're damned to hell forever. And it's kind of how they ingrain it to you even when you're a kid, and it's not that way when you learn it on later on in life. That self-forgiveness is what it's all about. It's the ultimate thing with that whole thing with the whole cross that they should have taught was that he died for all our sins, but he died in forgiving all of us because we didn't know what we were doing, and then
Right.
it's ultimate forgiveness for yourself and knowing that
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he definitely, because he forgave, right? It was supposedly he forgave the people
Everybody.
that put him there.
Yes.
That was his last
As he
time.
was there,
That was his last time.
Yeah, and that should be the ultimate representation, but that's not how they put it. They put it as like if you sin, it's like what Vino just said. You'll be damned just like this. You'll be damned, and that's not really.
But that was
true.
added later too. The whole health situation.
Don't worry. We're gonna hit that in a minute.
Okay.
But the whole and the fact that how come we don't pray to when he was ascended? How come when he quote unquote resurrected? See, that's the thing. his whole life, and also this jumps into another consciousness trap, the life-death cycle. That we on Earth, we're taught that you live, you die, and that's the end of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When that's not the case. Dude, what did Jesus do? He resurrected to show us that life and death is not a thing. There is no end. Your soul never dies. This is just
a symbolic transition.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? But they jack that too. They hijack that and just have you focus on this other stuff. You know, have you focus on that, you know.
Wrong part.
Yeah, you know, they make it seem like, oh no, only this man could ever be resurrected. No, all of us can be. But the belief, just remember, consciousness trap. The belief that you cannot be resurrected, the belief that you die, that you cease to be when you pass on, traps you in this life-death cycle, bro. This reincarnation cycle. You ascend when you finally realize that there is no death. You know what I'm saying? That's why one of the esoteric sayings is you have to die to be born. You know, you have to die that ego death. You have to realize what's really out there. That life and death is not something that exists. That you are an eternal being. You know what I'm saying? You're not necessarily going to be walking around in this vehicle every life, but the soul that you are, it goes on and on and on and on. You know, so that's one thing. The life-death cycle. If you know, and you know that's how certain the great they. That's how they want you to think. They want you because they want you trapped in the life-death cycle. That they want you not believing that there is something after that. You know, remember what I said in another podcast. It shouldn't be called death. It should be called the Great Transition.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Another thing, social media. It's really. We're taught that you go here and this is where you will socialize, but really, what do you end up becoming? The most antisocial person ever. You know what I'm saying? You end up going to places just to check in and then bounce, or just to go check in and take a selfie like you're having a good time, and then just sit there. You know, like Ramos told me a story. You know, dudes go to the gym, the sauna, and they'll take the selfie, check in, and then just bounce right out. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Hey, you see, even in I see that even when the weights, like they'll do like a quick one set of like 8, and they'll have like a whole camera, they'll have like a whole thing set up in the corner, they'll have this bench set up, they're doing like 1-2 sets of a workout just for the Instagram, and then they'll dip off.
Yeah.
You know, and I've watched this as I'm finishing up my reps, and it's annoying, but it's in the sense of like this is how some people are. They're so they have to do it for clout. They can't just do it for themselves.
But see, you see that, and see that they say that everything we see, everyone encounter is a mirror of ourselves. That you see that, so that whatever part of you would want to do that sees how stupid you would look. You know what I'm saying? Mm. That's it. It's a good way to check. You know, because Totes for me at work. Totes, the dude, we have this huge douchebag at work. We call him Totes. I see how he acts, and that checks me. I'm like, I could easily be like that, so stupid and annoying, and just get by on, hey, what's up, girl? But you know what? I would look like that, and I don't want to look like that. So yeah. That checks me. You know what I'm saying? He becomes a mirror for me. You know what I'm saying? Mm. Okay, so another thing. So anti-social media. Yeah. So basically, bro.
Well, it also makes you jealous.
Oh, bro.
Because everybody looks happy. They're only showing the best of
Bring up every emotion and brings it to you. It makes you angry, yes, envious, you know what I'm saying? You know?
Super envious. You're like, oh,
so
man.
You start the whole comparison.
Yes, that's the thing. As soon as you start doing that, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's toxic.
As soon as you see, they're doing something and I wish I could, what the fuck?
They look like they're with.
Yeah, they're doing them. You gotta do you. You know,
and then they make it to where it's like it's impossible to reach these outcomes. Like they put it in a pathway where it's impossible to like say you want to live this life.
Come on, like okay.
Like what you see on social media, they make it seem like it's an impossible outcome. And
like that guy that's real rich with all the chicks, Dan something Blitzerin or something.
Yeah, Dan Blazarian.
There you go.
I wish I didn't know who that was, but I know.
Yeah, but he's like always around porn chicks.
Yeah. But I'm talking about like people who go out to like different places around the world.
Yeah, they travel all the time and shit. I mean, but they don't have kids, or they weren't like blessed, or at least, or given the responsibility of having to take care of shit, which is fine, you know. Mm-hmm. But it's like we can't.
It's how you take the imagery. It's like if you want to take it as like, damn man, I wish I could live a lifestyle where I'm settled that way, and it's like, well, you can live that lifestyle, but just know there's sacrifices that were going to be made with where you're at.
Yeah. It's either, or it's going to take longer.
Yeah, it take longer to get there, but you can get there. Yeah. It's not impossible.
You
but
just have to take a different, longer path.
They make it again in this. What do you say it was? It was a
social media?
No, subconscious trap.
Like consciousness trap.
This consciousness trap.
Consciousness
trap.
There you go.
That where you're at, you're separated by class. So it's gonna be like like everybody wants a quick to the million. They want a quick way to the success. Like they don't want to put in the fucking work in between to get there.
That's the danger because there's one or
and they
two,
don't show that on social media. Is what I'm saying. Like they don't show the hard work that goes into having this. They only just show like, look, I have it, bro. Like this, they're showing that up, but they don't show the in between. If they really have to work for it, or did they get it from inheritance?
Right.
They don't show you the pathway.
A lot of them are fake as fuck, and they're just born rich, and they just have the money.
Exactly.
They look good.
Okay, so are we good on that one? Basically, that social media is actually anti-social media. That's the consciousness trap there.
Yeah. And there's, I mean, we could just shit on other YouTube channels. I don't want to do all that. Because there's some of them that just they show this to make it seem like it's okay to have money and act this way. Yeah.
Alright, so next consciousness trap is the school system. The fact that we as parents, I'm speaking for people who are parents, we as parents think that it's acceptable to just allow our kids to be taught by complete strangers and us just be okay with having not getting involved at all because it's more convenient for us. You're basically allowing your child to become indoctrinated, which is what now is being seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because a lot of times people are not also educated at home. They're letting 100% of the education be learned.
They're being lazy
in public education.
Yeah, because it's more convenient for them.
Right, but it's not like back in the day where parents would be like, "Yo, they might be teaching y'all that we came from monkeys, but I don't believe that." So then you always have, okay, well, we're getting taught different things, and it's up to you to decide. But now parents are so distracted by the social media and the television and everything.
No, it's just that they're
just.
And
it will work too because we're forced to have to work long hours just to make ends meet and to try to buy these things that we all want to look like everybody else and act like everybody else. But damn, I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah.
Like we get so busy that we don't have time to actually get involved.
They don't actually teach their kids.
But quote unquote, they have designed it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They made it so that and instead of at least being able to go home and see what's up, you want to check your own social media. You want to get on the, like you said, on the streaming services. You know what I'm saying?
Instead of being social with your kids.
Yeah, you want to go and still worry about yourself.
You want to check out what Tammy down the street is doing, or what Sally over there is doing.
Some chicks in Miami, Houston and shit.
Who's single or who just broke up with who and this and that. Like,
so I hate to say it, bro, but before you know it, you send your kid off to school and you don't get involved. By the time they're like in second, third grade, you got your kid telling you that they feel like they were born the wrong gender. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now what the fuck? What? Yeah, bro. Now you got all kinds of problems. You know what I mean?
You have to take the step in between, like to teach your kids how to balance your morals and standards of how to live. Just being an individual.
Right.
In a already school system that's so many different people that are trying to become something. It's like you have to, as a parent, be able to establish an already set code of morals and values. Right. So when they go out there, they can be themselves, but they have like I guess like a go back plan or like a basic
filter, like they can process shit.
Roots is what I'm trying to say. They have a root foundation of who they are.
Yeah.
Set that it can't be uprooted just so easily. Like it's already established since they've been kids.
Right.
That you did, but you got to take the time to do that, and a lot of parents aren't doing that. They're trying to trust the school system to do that.
The school system, the TV, the YouTube.
Yeah, they're trying to trust they're trying to trust everybody else but themselves, and then when it comes down to it that their kids come back like that, they blame the school system instead of blaming themselves.
Shit, that's how like 1984 or whatever that book is. That's how that shit kind of happens.
And that's how idiocracy happens too.
Yeah.
The final one I have, it bleeds into about Jesus on the cross and how life, death, how they have designed things this way. The last consciousness trap is how we think that God is this image of God that we all have that makes us fall into traps. For example, we think that we believe that if God were to come down on this earth right now, he would say, "Kneel before me. I am the Lord." But in reality, that is not how God would be. You know what I'm saying? God would show up and be the most loving, kindest, most compassionate dude you've ever met. He'd be like, "Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm happy to be here. You know what I'm saying?" And then when you start kneeling before him, he would say, "Yo, why are y'all kneeling?" He'd be like, "Well, you're God." He's like, "Well, who told you you're supposed to kneel before God?" And they're like, "They did." And see, no, they taught you to kneel before God because that's how they got you consciously trapped. They make you think that God is this all like.
So you saying? But are you saying God like the Jesus?
No, I'm saying God.
God.
Yeah, well, Jesus too. I don't think. I think it's been proven by what he did that Jesus is a man of the people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the Lord Himself, the big God. I think God would say to you like, why are you kneeling before me? Why are you guys like why are you being so like so? Why,
I think I would bow at least.
Why have you restricted yourselves? You know what I'm saying? I sent you here to live and to play. To work and to play. You know what I'm saying?
I created every aspect of it.
So many of you guys have got it wrong way. And you know what? It will go back to what they have taught you. They have taught you that this God would punish you if you don't do what He says. This God would totally give you a hug and say, "I understand you, son." You know what I'm saying? I know it's hard.
The fact that they like his. All right, so the Bible's cool and all right, but there is, I think, fact that it was put together by like monks or something, or some people.
It was put together by man.
By man.
You know what I'm saying?
A few hundred years after the death of Jesus, and they picked certain books, right, to put together.
And then it's coming out that it was really put together by this English author who might have also been the real William Shakespeare, and that's a whole nother podcast in itself.
Yeah.
But basically,
before I forget, the fact that they put in that God's a jealous God. They make us feel like He's jealous and
of course
and spiteful.
First of all, I would say, why would you give God human emotions? God is not a human.
He's above that.
Exactly. He wouldn't feel these lowly human emotions.
Right.
He'd be like, why are you letting the devil tempt you with these? You know what I'm saying? Like don't fall for that. You know what I'm saying? But we believe that God would look at us and judge us. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He would not. God would come down and, like I said, give you a hug and say, "Son, daughter, I understand it's hard. I understand that you might fall on the road sometimes. But, that doesn't mean I have anything against you. I still love you. I'm still right there."
He's always looking for that self-admission for yourself.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like to self-admit. Like at the end of it all, it's like how they try to project it that God will judge you for all the sins you have committed throughout your life. But what they miss on the whole thing, or at least from my understanding, is that God wants to hear you out for all your sins that you committed, but He wants to hear you say, "But I am at fault. I caused it for myself, and I didn't, understand it." Taking self-responsibility, taking self, yeah.
And if you were to say to God, "I'm a sinner. I don't deserve to be in Your presence," He'd be like, "Do you know what a sinner actually is?" And you say, "Oh, someone does bad things." No, a sinner just means short of perfection. And you know what? Everyone who isn't God is short of perfection. Everyone is a sinner in that way, but we are taught that a sinner is this other thing.
We're taught that a sinner means evil.
Yes,
and evil and sinning aren't the same.
A sin just means short of perfection, which is what we're never on this earth going to be perfect. We're always going to try to strive, and that's the thing. We're going to sin, we're going to err, but that's the goal to rise above that and know that, hey, just because I fuck up doesn't mean I am a fuck up.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
Will you have to experience like a karma or like a bad thing that happens because of that? Yeah, it's gonna happen because of the sin you committed. But it's all about self-forgiving yourself. It'll stop that.
Yeah.
It's knowing that God's not punishing you. You're punishing yourself. God's not gonna let you keep. How do you say? He's gonna let you keep falling, but He'll pick you up every single time until you're ready to stop falling.
Yeah, and then he also he's like the great teacher. So like at some point, I know he's like also like our father, right? So I'm sure he becomes proud when we stop making those same kind of mistakes. And shit.
Right.
As and as children, a lot of us when we would do something or say something that made our parents happy or smile or give us praise, we would want to keep doing that. Well, you have to imagine every time you do try to do something good, every time you do humble yourself, every time you do. Fight those battles with your emotion and come out on top, and don't make excuses for yourself. You know what I'm saying? God, He smiles at you, bro. Him and all the angels are like, yeah, there's a big party up there, bro. They're doing it. Look at him, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how you have to look at it. So that's the thing. We look for praise from people from around us, but bro.
From other people who also need praise.
Stop looking for praise from human beings and look for praise from God and the angels, fool. That's who you should be trying to impress. You know what I'm saying? That's who you should be trying to to make. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Or if you need it to be the universe, I feel like that's the creator.
That's what I'm saying. But so many people want to play a role, and they're like, bro, it's like, you take it too serious, bro. Just live. You know what I'm saying? Just live life. You're playing a role because you want people to look at you as this guy, like the spirit guy, or the fitness guy, or the whatever guy. You know what I'm saying? And hey, no, man, like people should just look at you as just as a dude, not as someone who takes himself too serious. You know, he's always out there like, you know, you just like, you know, like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's definitely not God how to carry himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God wouldn't sit there and say, look, Chris, you have until 2 months from now to change or you're going to hell. God would give you absolute free will to do what you like. You know, he would also say, but Chris,
You have father time, which is probably like just into the end of your time to kind of. All right, when your time is up from this
Cycle.
this cycle or this damn, I keep missing my words because I'm so in the clouds, but I guess in this dimension, and when you have to go up to there, he's gonna ask you, and then, you know, that's where you have to finally, you know, I guess admit to all your sins or whatever. You keep repeating the cycle until, you know, it's finally over, and then either you'll be reincarnated and have to redo it all over again and see if you'll stop the cycle, or you've learned at the end of it all. But he'll always be there to pick you up. He'll always be there to listen and hear you out.
And that consciousness trap, what it does to people, it makes them live a life where they're fear, or they do things out of fear, that they do things thinking that God is that kind of dude that he's going to judge you, or he's going to punish you, or he expects you to, he expects this of you, you know what I'm saying? God would like you to be a good person and to follow his laws, but if he doesn't, he's not going to sit there and throw a fit
And
or
that's
judge you, you know what I'm saying? And people start to live, like they said, that it makes you, as little kids, you said, you're taught that, hey, if you do this, God is gonna punish you. So like I said, you're
gonna burn in fucking hell.
So
it's
yeah,
like, whoa, what the fuck?
So it's almost like you're being forced to follow God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's not how God wants his sheep to come to him, bro. God wants his sheep to come to him because they want to follow him and they want to be
our own will.
They want to follow his word and follow his laws. You know what I'm saying? Not because, oh, you're afraid I'm gonna punish you. What the fuck? You definitely wouldn't want someone to say the only reason why I'm being nice to you or not, or, you know, whatever, is because I don't want you to hit me or I don't want you to punish me. You'd be like, then what the hell?
Yeah, it's like,
That's
and you
not,
can't trust that person. The intentions are
and
They live
selfish
in that fear.
intentions.
Yeah.
They're living in fear.
And that fear is, and the underlining of that whole thing is, fear is the ultimate weapon of the devil. That's what he uses it to.
It fucks up your judgment.
Yeah, it fucks up everything with you. It fucks up your judgment on what you want to do. It fucks up your judgment on who you want to trust. It fucks up a lot.
All your decision making is just all this shit is just.
Fear can be the ultimate key that gets you to where you want to be, but it can also be used to destroy you and lead to your ultimate downfall.
Yeah, because you can use it in positive, like a positive type of fear, like, oh, you know, you don't want to
well,
fail, the fear of failure.
Put it like this: the fear for a samurai, bro, back in the day, or any warrior, bro, who did anything. The fear of death. I mean, look, you know, they don't go around saying they're afraid of death, but that fear of death was what made them so sharp in battle. That's what made their senses sharp. That's what made them determined to not lose, because I am not going to die.
And
You know
it's
what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you want
It's
to go back
also
to
an
your woman and your kids and your land.
It's also an acceptance of it.
Yeah.
So that way you don't have that fear. Like, if it is my time, even after all my hard work and everything, then that's okay too. Because at least I put in the work, so I don't fear. I can at least fight for my own life, if need be, if I have to use my sword. If I can talk my way out.
That's what.
Or whatever.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, just in relation to the Japanese, the samurai, I mean, that's why they were able to, like, ward off China and everything, like, just this little island, because of their lack of fear and their confidence, and they're just.
Look at the Russians. You know, a lot of people would say that the Russians are hard motherfuckers, and you know what? Their culture is a culture that very much embraces that. If you ever get into literature or get into like their poetry, shit like that, like even their songs, like these people, like, they embrace death very much. They like
They don't accept it as the end.
Things we would look at as, oh my god, that's so morbid, or so you know, like, what's the word, macabre. They look at it as just, that's life.
Well, that's like the Vikings.
To them, that's life.
Well, they used to be Vikings.
In their
Some of them.
strange hierarchy, the way that they had it, it was that 3-phase. They look at it almost like phases. Like, yeah, you got your bottom ones as your peasants and whatnot. Your nobility is your second class, and you got your higher echelon up there with the royal family is the third level. And they really looked at everybody, even at the peasant level, as this is the role that we're supposed to play, because this is the role that God gave us, and we're going to play this role as best we can. No matter how hard it is, we're not going to go against God, because this is the role in which they appointed us. If when you read it when the nobility did go talk to the peasants, and because they didn't know how to read or write, they only just knew how to work the fields, you kind of see that they did accept this role and knew that because if we live a good life, not in the fear of God, and some of them, but in living that role, they will ascend. In a sense,
Right.
they knew that the ascension process was part of this. They just didn't know how it really worked.
Right. Imagine now if at the time they had social media, then you'd
Mhm.
have the peasants wanting to be in this fucking royal family. They'd never be able to get there. But they would waste their time and hours looking at them and wanting to look like them and all
Reading Alexander the First, Nicholas the First, and Alexander the Second, and the way that they would go and visit, even Catherine the Great too as well. I'm gonna throw her in there. They would notice how the peasant life is, and they would want to do everything they could to try and fix that life and try to at least give them a chance of education and how to write. They were the only ones that wanted that for that peasantry. This socialism, communism didn't want that. They wanted equalism. They used that hardship and whatnot and used it for communism to make it. Yeah, we can all be equal, but in reality, they were already trying to do that with Alexander II and whatnot. And it was because he did that is what almost basically resulted in his death.
Damn. Who's Catherine? She was a queen, an empress?
Catherine the Great. Catherine the Great was the grandmother of all of these men.
Okay.
And
That's dope.
it was Peter the Great, who was the husband of this woman, that they basically did a whole coup because this man, all he wanted to do was play soldier. There's a whole side story with this that I'm probably going to talk about in the High Historian. Just her on her own episode herself.
The military can be a culture trap. Bringing it back to the topic, like the way that they try to get you in middle school and high school, and they go like they got the recruitment there, like you should go to war for us.
In a sense,
They make it think that that's that you're actually doing a service for your country when the fact of the matter is you're also being indoctrinated over there.
You're being indoctrinated. You're being. I mean, I don't know like about every situation, but I mean, I just think.
I mean, for the most part, a lot of those men shouldn't even be out there.
Right. A lot of it's big corporations that are sending people out as well. Like I imagine, like around 2001 with Halliburton and all that shit. Like they were out there just making money for private industry, right? And they
I mean,
thought
you
they
can
were.
look that back all the way from the 80s.
Yeah, like I don't know how much it goes on now, but in history that went on a lot, and that was a big.
mercenary soldiers.
Are you
that's how shit has never
suggesting,
gone.
Chris, that the American troops are used as mercenaries?
No, well, I guess. I was just saying, like, they were just yeah, I guess so.
I mean, because if you look back, this has been happening since, I think, the 1850s, 1860s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're not going to keep going on that. That's conspiracy in itself.
Yeah.
Wrap it up.
Alright. That's 103.
Yeah.
Hey.
Peace. Shit, it's not